Hi guys, and welcome to the Just My Opinion podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Tzy Panchak's first business. So he announced on his Instagram page, letting his fans know is like the grand opening of his first business, which was on the 6th of May. So let me get to. So this is the building. This is a poster which he shared on Instagram. Then he also shared a caption which said, "Hello guys, glad to announce the opening of my first business, Johan Residence, tomorrow, Saturday, 6th of May." So the grand opening was on the 6th of May. So he says it's a rented apartment, rooftop bar, location opposite Jenny Militaire, Bonapo, Douala. So we are going to be talking about this in the context of artists starting businesses, artists investing. That way they could produce art which is not very attached to, am I going to eat today? They can relax and have food on the table and still produce good music. So down the line, we are going to be telling you guys more about the sponsor of this podcast, which is Echo Online. So stay tuned for that. So hi, Ambassador.
Hello, people. It's your boy Ambassador again doing this thing.
Okay, so let's talk about Tzy Panchak starting his business. I know we have previously been very vocal on this podcast about artists diversifying their streams of income. That way, when they get to the studio, they are not like very desperate trying to follow the next hit. Instead, they can relax and create art which is actually beautiful and original and something which sticks to their brand instead of just, okay, oh, this brand of music is popping in South Africa, let's do it. This brand of music is popping here, let's do it. This brand of music is popping here, let's do it. But they could sit back and produce art. So what do you think about this move by Panchak?
No, so I think it's a very good move. First, I would just like to congratulate him, and then when he sees this, you should not forget to cut to the check. This is free publicity we are doing for him. Probably shown the location of the place and everything. Yeah. So you should remember Shakara TV. At least you can get a discount or come to stay at his guest house.
Yeah.
That being said, that was a joke. I think it's a very commendable effort, which should be as an example to other artists. There was the issue you touched there where he said artists should not be motivated by survival because it's obvious when somebody is hungry, their thinking kind of diminishes. I just saw a picture the other day where you just reminded me of most of the decisions we take as Africans, not just in entertainment, in many other walks of life in Africa, where we are thinking from the angle of survival. So our logic is out of the window. There was a picture where a guy was in a cell and they threw him the key to open the cell and a loaf of bread. And he was struggling to pick up the loaf of bread. But if he picks up the key, opens the door, he gets the bread, he gets his freedom, he can go out there and make more money to buy more bread, he can make bread. The options are unlimited. But just because he's thinking of the bread, I'm hungry now, I want to eat, that's where his thinking ends. It looks very stupid, but it's very realistic. When you look at the Maslow pyramid, when somebody's at the bottom of the pyramid where their basic necessities are not always guaranteed, that's all they can think of. All the other things like emotional intelligence, invention of things, spiritual, all of those things can get thrown out the window very fast when you need your basic necessities. So that comes coming back to the art. I think that's one of the things plaguing our industry where people are in, should I call it, dying need of a hit song. And when they get the hit song, they don't even know what to do with it because they did not plan to manage the hit song. They just wanted a hit song. So they cash in on the hit song very fast. And there's a very sad, should I call it, a sad example of Franco where he got hit by hit song and then did not cash in all the money he could make from the hit song, did not follow up on the song. There are lots of things you see on YouTube on how much money he lost along the way just because maybe it was not, he now bought the publishing rights, he didn't have people following all of his money in all the corridors. So, but also, I think a lot of artists have shared things like this with us in the past. And when you talk to some artists, they just feel like business in Cameroon is not the best. But it's not that business in Cameroon is not the best. It's that most of the time people don't put in the proper work to ensure that business works. So you could approach your art from the angle of your inspiration, your emotions, and all of that. But when it comes to business, there are laid down rules on how business works. and people have to learn to follow that. So I can take the example of Mr. Leo, what I think was this the Cocoa Bar. No, I think it's Cocoa Bar or Cocoa, something like that. Some restaurant here in Buya. He did a lot of beginning publicity about it. I was just observing from outside. I don't know exactly what happened and how the management went, but I saw it online. Mr. Leo was talking about his restaurant and all of that. It's a place I was familiar with as a customer. And I saw the management not really running properly. I saw the place dwindle, and then disappear. So, with that being said, I think arts have an issue of management. I think Blanche Bailey recently launched, no, not recently, some time ago, launched her spa thing. I think Shura also launched something recently. I think Daphne also went out to say she has built a house, which she's now giving part of it on rent. So I've seen some of these things before, but the follow-up success story, because a success story will inspire people even more than just the presentation of the idea. So a success story actually shows how it works and the impact of that action on people's lives, and people relate to those things even more. So if this becomes a very successful story, many more artists will do it. So I think two things which I'll recommend for him to take note of to ensure that it becomes a success story. One is management. Artists have this tendency of using their friends, their family members, put into the management of their art and their businesses. And most of the times, people are not very objective. They are not trained as managers. You cannot question them like that because they are family and friends. You cannot be very objective business wise. And all of those things I've just cited are a special recipe to ensure that the business crumbles. So when you want to do those things, get an HR firm or get one or two people who are business savvy. Let them select people to work for you. Human resource interviews, will send their CVs, question them. They go come to work, you put them on probation, first 3 months, first 6 months, you evaluate their progress, you tell them the directions that they need to improve along and things like that to ensure that the business is run properly, especially from the start. If you look at survival rates of startups, it's crazy. I think it's less than 90% of startups fail from the beginning. So it's still a startup, although you are an entertainer or you are a star. So yeah, let me put it that way. Your business is still a startup and it's going to face the same challenges startups face. And if you don't approach it in that manner of following managerial ethics and good practices to the letter, then you are bound to fail. The second thing I'll ask them to do is to use their star power as a tool for marketing. So we have seen lots of artists like Jay-Z and his 4040 Club. These guys had they had their fashion brand, Rockaway, and all of those things, which because Jay-Z was a star, could easily push all of those things through the corridors. There are lots of songs where people just shouted out 4040 Club for free. That's free promo. But just because it's Jay-Z's club and it was a trending thing at the time, everybody wanted to be singing at the 4040 Club. That was mad publicity for those things. I remember when I went to Nigeria, Ice Prince had a club or a pub or something like that. P Square had a, should I call it, no, a bakery or a restaurant? No, I think it was a bakery. Yeah. So when you just get into town, they're like, should we go and see Ice Prince Club? Should we go to P Square? One, it is something which, okay, coming from Cameroon, they know that I've heard of Ice Prince. So I will know, I might not know the biggest restaurant in Jos, but I've heard of Ice Prince and I want to go and see his club to say that I went to Ice Prince Club. And also hoping that when I get there, I might see Ice Prince and some other celebrities who usually come there because they want to take Ice Prince. So that's a very huge motivation, which they don't usually use. I went to that place like twice, maybe, never saw Mr. Leo there, never saw any star buzzing thing around there. I don't know how much of the management, but he put it up on that it was his thing he started, so I don't know. So I think they should use their star power as a tool for marketing. A lots of, as I said, look up guys like Blueprint. Look at what Brianna is doing with her Fenty brand. Lots of models you can look as blueprints when it comes to entertainers using their brand or their names as a tool for marketing. And lots of things you can just spin around and adapt it to Cameroon. So I think with those two things said, if Panchak should actually manage this properly as a business, it's going to be a success story which can be shared for other artists to emulate.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. I think it's not just artists who do this. It's not just artists who, when they start up business, they take their friends or family members. Anybody who does that, most of the time we hear within 1 year, either the person was not keeping the books right, so they never break even, they never made any profit, and they kept on just having to pump money into the business, but the business is not even able to take care of itself. So at the end of the day, you're like, yeah, you cannot keep going like this, and then it falls. So I think that's really very important advice, very important advice for an artist or anybody starting up a business to follow. Yeah, get the right people for the job. Don't get people because you know them, and people who are not your family members, they know, okay, I have to prove to him that I can do the job. I have to do a good job or else I'll lose my job. But somebody who comes with the airs of, yeah, I'm his friend, I'm his family member, they feel like I don't have to prove anything to you. Yeah, because you didn't hire me because you you didn't hire me because I had some qualifications or anything. You hired me because I was a friend, and that's the only qualification I have to keep showing, my friendship. So yeah, so
Yeah.
um yeah. So before we proceed, because I want us to talk about finance. I know, Ambassador, you're in the real estate business. So I want us to look at the building and talk about like the estimate, what price range do you think, what amount of money you think Panchak would have spent on this business venture. But before that, let's talk about Echo Online.
Okay, hello, people. As usual, I like talking about the business side of things. You always pick my angle is from the business side of things. So, Echo.online, we usually say the power is in your hands. You are giving the artists the power to be able to monetize their art. You are trying to democratize the playing field for artists. Most of the time, African artists who are independent by default are usually found in that desperate place where they need to either get somebody abroad to collect their money from iTunes, from Tidal. They're struggling to transfer their money to Cameroon or to Africa. It's always a challenge. So with Echo.online, one, you could just use your phone. You go to a studio, record your song. It's properly mixed and mastered there. You upload it into your phone. You load it up on Echo.online, which is a very easy process to handle. You share your songs. You build your follower base there so that each time you share your songs, your followers can see it. And then also, it has all the other aspects which you can monetize your art. For example, you could create an event on Echo.online, sell your tickets there directly, pull out your money using your mobile money or any other payment method you are familiar with. You could also go out there, get bookings. So there are lots of other features which I'm citing, which are under construction. But most of these things, I'm sure, like in the next 3 months, are going to be ready. I usually tell artists, look up the story of YouTube. The first people who jumped on YouTube became millionaires from YouTube. So it's good to jump on the bus while it's still starting off. So you master the tricks on it. You get the first advantages of people who are first on the site before many people come, and then it's now crowded and they cannot get the certain personal attention which you get when you're the first users or the first big users. So artists, go on Echo.online. I mean, you know, I'm always Pan-African, everything created by Africans for Africans. I'm always behind it. Check up Echo.online and watch the progress over the month. So keep on talking about it, and then hopefully you guys are going to jump on board and then experience the growth and benefit which it offers.
Yeah, definitely. Echo.online is a place to go if you want your music to get on the radar of Chakra TV. I keep on saying this. Um, when I want to look at what new songs are out there, the first place I want to go to is like Echo.online and scroll through and say, okay, which new songs can I find? And you can gradually build a following there. You can gradually build a following there. You make money, sell your music. People have the possibility of following you on Echo.online. So once your followers, once you drop music, they get notified. So that's a good way to build your following and keep your followers informed about what you're doing. So definitely get on it. So we have been going for a while now, but before we go, Ambassador, let's look at these pictures, right? It's a very impressive building. It's impressive. Let's take a look at these pictures. You're in the real estate business, and let's look at the furnitures, the building, the like I know from these pictures we cannot really see the finishing, but we can get an idea. So can we have like a rough estimate of what this business venture would have cost, Panchak?
It's very tricky to to do that looking at the pictures we have. The pictures are not detailed enough. I can barely even see how many floors exactly it is. But looking at the standards is just like the pictures of the finishing inside. I would definitely say it's above 100.
100 million.
Yes, but I can really be missing it because when it comes to finishing, looking at the number of floors, I'm guessing here because I cannot even see the top clearly. It looked like it was a 4 or 3 floor.
It should
The-
be, let's see.
Yeah, because see, like that top was not very clear. I did not see how. I don't see the bottom. If that's really the
Yeah.
bottom, and I'm not seeing the top.
So it looks like
It's
one,
tricky
two,
to
three, four.
approximate.
Yeah.
It looked like it was it's 3 floors, but now I'm not too sure that's the bottom which we are seeing there in that decoration. It's tricky to approximate. But I think that the finish is of a certain standard. And usually with real estate, the finishing can really make the difference. I mean, it's same door can be 100,000 francs, can be 500, can be 1 million. Just the door. So with that in mind, if I'm not able to come up close and assess the door, like what kind of wood did they use? What is the value of this lock? The varnish put on the door. All of those details which can really blow up the price. There might be some gold knob somewhere which is it just makes the whole thing different. But if you don't know and you don't see close up, you think it's just you evaluate it like just the door, 200,000 francs, 100,000 francs. Yeah. So that those details, which when it comes to evaluating a house, yeah, it's tricky, especially when the pictures are not too detailed enough.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think he spent around that amount or even more because I'm looking
Yeah.
at the furnitures too because this is a it's a rented apartment which is furnished, completely furnished.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the furnitures, I'm looking at the bed frames, I'm looking at the finishing, I'm looking at the chandeliers, so all of those things. So he definitely spent a lot. Even like look at the rooftop bar, which is very
Yeah, yeah, the
impressive.
problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very impressive. I mean, it's like what this is my favorite picture of the rooftop bar. Like I don't know, I don't really know what's going on behind
And
there.
also, I think I gave a lot of words of caution and advice, but one other thing I want to add is maintenance. Cameroonians have a very bad
Yeah.
tradition, or should I call it a culture of maintenance.
Yeah.
So all of these beautiful things, the next 4 years, we don't want to come and then see the bulbs are all off in the chandelier. One side of the bed has fallen. The taps are no longer working. There's rust on the walls. That just diminishes the value. So
Yes.
a good maintenance plan should be put in place because with all this beauty we see there, we don't want to come after 3 years and then it's now a how do they even call it? I don't want to use the local slang, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's very true. That's very true. There are a lot of places that when initially started, it was like the talk of the town. Everybody was wowed by everything. Then down the line, they don't maintain it. You go there and you're like,
Yeah.
if you didn't go there at the time we were talking about it, and then you just heard about it, then you go there later on and you see it and you're like, oh, we're talking about because you don't see the beauty
What
again.
we're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's it, people. Once more, congrats to Tz for this business venture. I think he spent a lot. I think I don't know if he had investors or if he had partners on this venture, but it's a big deal. Like the ambassador said, hopefully he puts in the right management. Hopefully, he does the maintenance right and he has a successful business venture, and other artists will follow suit. Because once artists start going in for business and it's not being successful, other artists don't feel like business is the way to go. But if he becomes successful, then artists will definitely follow suit. Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you for tuning into the Just My Opinion podcast. And let us know in the comments below what do you think about this business venture. And we always want to know your opinion. Thumbs up to this video, subscribe to check out our TV, hit the notification button, and see you guys next time. Bye, guys.